The Very Serious Crafts podcast is on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/seriouscrafts to support our podcast, find out about our Patreon half-stitched episodes, and more.
Hello, and welcome to Season 5, Episode 10 of the Very Serious Crafts podcast. I'm Molly from Wild Olive.
And I'm Haley from Red Handled Scissors and the Bones and Bobbins podcast. Today, we'll be talking about a legendary American sewist, Betsy Ross.
Yes.
And it's kind of exciting because we haven't done much near history. We've done older things.
Right.
But, yeah.
And I think anytime that you look at, like, someone from history who did a thing that you also do, or something adjacent to what you also do, it's very fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, because you appreciate the amount of work that went into that thing that is a footnote in history.
Yes. And this episode is coming out on the 4th of July, or American Independence Day, so it's a little themey, but also this is interesting anytime. Yeah.
Listen, I like a theme. That's fine with
As
me.
do I. I can't talk, but yeah.
Things are matchy-matchy.
Yep.
In a way that is satisfying.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
I'm here for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, tell me about Betsy Ross. Oh, wait. Hold on. Before we jump into talking. Because I'm just so excited.
I know.
We want to give a shout out to our serious friends of the Very Serious Crafts podcast who are supporting us at patreon.com/seriouscrafts. Many thanks to you. You are the best.
Yes, we appreciate you. We do.
It's true.
You really make this all happen behind the scenes, whether you realize it or not. It really is the thing that makes this very, very possible.
Agreed.
All right, so let's talk Betsy Ross. If you grew up in the United States, you almost undoubtedly learned about Betsy Ross as part of, like, history. And if you are unfamiliar or it's just been a while, the idea here, as the story goes, Elizabeth, quote, Betsy Ross, is known for making the very first American flag. And the story goes that they came to her, she was known for making flags, ships standards, etc. Yeah. And so they came to her with this idea for what the flag would look like, and it had 13 stripes and 13 stars representing the original 13 colonies. The stars had 6 points, and they were all kind of like in their, I'm not sure what configuration they supposedly were in when they showed her this idea. The idea was, though, she said, let's make them 5-pointed stars and let's put them in a circle, which then ended up being the very first American flag. Mm-hmm. Would you say that when you were growing up that you learned this as fact?
Yeah.
Like, this is how this happened? Just, that was it?
Yep. My 4th grade social studies class.
Yep. Well, it may not have exactly been that way. This might be a little bit more legend. I know. Can you imagine us not having history written down exactly the way it happened? That would never happen.
I mean, and Paul Revere didn't do the most impressive run on that night that the British were coming. He only did a small portion.
See?
Of it.
There you go. We've got...
There was a young person, a woman, in fact, a girl, a teenage girl, who...
I like it.
Did way, 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 way more.
Mm-hmm. There's also, like, a famous painting of Benjamin Franklin out, like, with the kite and the key, and he's got, like, his son with him who's, like, a little kid. Well, it also didn't really happen like that. That was, just not... They were older, there was probably a barn, all the things. Anyway,
Probably a fire, several fires.
Probably.
I'm just assuming, because when you're playing with thunderstorms and things what conduct.
Exactly. It was a bad idea.
In a farm.
Yeah. But the story of Betsy Ross sewing the first flag in 1776, it seems that and I'm getting this information, this particular, kind of not debunking, but sort of, from history.com. And it was it says the story was first publicly relayed to the Historical Society of Pennsylvania nearly a century later in 1870 by her grandson. And so I think this is one of those cases where it doesn't mean that it's false. Like, the family kind of had this history, but also it's hard to know because the information didn't show up until quite later.
Right.
But the story went
Sybil Luddington. That's the name of the girl.
Oh, okay.
She rode 40 miles.
Wow. That's impressive.
She was 16.
That's very impressive.
I think she was 16. Yeah, 16.
Anyway,
sorry.
No, anyway, yeah. So the idea was that she, Betsy Ross kind of helped design and then sew the first flag.
Yes, in her poofy white cap.
With
an inexplicable embroidery hoop.
Yeah, which is funny because...
I mean, I have a quilting hoop that is slightly newer than that, but not much.
You would not have used that for joining the stripes together, certainly.
No.
You might have used that for appliquing the stars on.
Yes.
Or embroidering stars on. But I would say applique based on the extra part of the story, which is where they said, well, why would you put why 5-pointed stars? Isn't that going to be a whole lot harder to make? And the legend goes that she folded a piece of paper a certain way, made one snip, and voila, a perfect 5-pointed star.
That seems suspect.
You know what, though? It absolutely works.
Cool.
I have done it. I'm putting in the show notes a link to how to fold the paper to get it. Now,
oh, I'm excited. I'm going to try
Getting it perfect takes some practice, I will say. It's not just you always get it the first time.
I have a bone creaser. I'm ready.
It's pretty amazing, though, because you just have to fold it the right way and one snip.
That's cool.
One snip.
I'm really excited.
Yes. So that's one of those cases where, did that really happen the way it's said? It's possible because it works.
I mean, I bet someone just said stars, and she did it the easiest way, although arguably you could do 2 triangles.
Exactly. Which,
if you wanted
maybe
to
that
do
was
6.
their thought was that was the easier way to make it. I don't know. But, yeah.
Maybe she just wanted to be fancy. Or make it look fancy, but it was actually easy.
Yeah, I don't know. But, she's seen as one of those, like a founder of the country in a way because of the involvement with
She's a revolutionary figure.
Yeah, exactly.
Of lore.
Yeah, and so I think especially, well, when you're growing up as a girl in the United States, any of the female figures that you would learn about, obviously you saw as role models in some way. Yeah, I loved learning about all of those people. And so then when you bring in the sewing aspect, of course she's going to be treasured in that way. And I don't mind that there's a little bit of lore and legend that may not be full history.
There's lore and legend in every good story.
Exactly. And, this was a long time ago. So if things get passed down...
she's allowed to have a good story.
Now, supposedly there were affidavits from Betsy Ross's daughter, niece, and granddaughter surrounding the story. So, it, again, could be a little bit more documented, but...
So, at least within family
yes.
oral history.
Exactly. So, yeah.
All right.
I'll accept it.
Sure.
I will accept it.
I mean, it's more corroboration than almost
so many things.
anything anyone else did,
Exactly.
whose name we know in bold print from that era. Just saying. Do you know what Benjamin Franklin was up to? No, you probably almost certainly do not. Do you know what Thomas Jefferson was up to? Well,
Yeah, you could look that up. Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah.
Betsy Ross and her flag making skills. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. And I feel like people imagine, or at least I think I did when I was younger, that she invented the idea of a flag, completely forgetting the entire maritime tradition of flag making, because ships, they like a flag, and they have a flag for everything. There are flags, like, that are actual, like, etiquette for being boarded by a pirate ship.
I mean...
Or being boarded by pirates onto your ship. But there's like, hi, a flag for hi, we see you. And then, we're coming for you. And then, not only are we coming for you, we're going to board, but we're not going to board right now. Like,
that would probably...
In 27 minutes, we shall... Like,
very specific.
So, yeah, so, and... like, when we say things like flagship, that means, like, that is how you know what place a group of ships is sailing from, because their flagship is the lead ship with the flag of the place they represent. And so, like, flags and big flags visible from a distance existed, but I don't think, at least personally, I did not mentally overlap those ideas, even though seaworthy flags are the kinds of flags that are also able to stand up to outside elements.
Well, and that's what I read about, at least, is that she was making those. That was, and that which is why they would come to her and say, could you do this?
Yeah, like, they weren't just like, you know how to sew. You're a woman.
Could you hem my pants?
Can you hem my pants? Oh my gosh. Can you imagine how many pants that poor woman must have hemmed during the process of... and I'm not even joking.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Revolutionary War, right? You would have... Oh, poor Betsy.
Because, well, oh gosh, I mean, uniforms. Everybody was making their own uniforms, and by everybody, I mean probably everybody's wife and or mother and or sister were making their uniforms.
Now I've got this view of George Washington coming to Betsy Ross and being like, "Listen, Martha is fed up with hemming my pants. Could you make us a flag and fix my pants
hemmed so my stockings stay up? I need a sock garter, please."
Oh boy.
Ribbons.
I'd like. I need some fancy ribbon for my short trousers. Thank you.
I mean, that's how
it works.
Stayed up before they were stretched.
I know.
I feel like people miss that aspect of clothing also. Like, they think that it was just frippery.
Yeah.
When there were lots of bows on things. No, that was keeping your socks up.
It was functional frippery.
Yep. And, I mean, sometimes beautiful, but it had to do its job. Anyway, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Just now I'm imagining. And also keep in mind that many of the founding fathers were teenagers.
Yes.
Or in their early 20s. Yeah. There were relatively few, like, we think of them as distinguished old men in powdered wigs. No.
For reference, as we're talking about this, in in 1776, Betsy Ross herself was 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
You know.
So she's for sure hemming pants of all of the lads who we think of as learned, distinguished gentlemen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why, Amazon, are you calling me?
They really...
I'm not. I'm not. It's not happening. Anyway, so,
yeah,
yes.
So,
she was 24.
She was 24.
I was not picturing that.
I know. Part of it is probably because we always see her in the floofy cap that instantly makes you look old. But, by the way, this is from biography.com, and it says that she apprenticed with an upholsterer.
Mob cap.
Yes, that.
Isn't that what it's called?
Yes. Mm-hmm. She apprenticed with an upholsterer before irrevocably splitting with her family to marry outside the Quaker religion. I know!
Wait. The Quakers were breaking the drama?
Uh-huh. Yeah, and then she and her husband, John Ross, started their own upholstery business.
I feel very lucky that my marriage did not cause an irreparable rift in my spouse's family. Their poor Quaker roots.
She attended Quaker schools and learned sewing and other crafts common in her day. By the way, she was the 8th of 17 children.
And they got that mad?
Well, maybe they just needed less mouths to feed and were like, we're mad that you're marrying outside the religion, but also whatever.
Wouldn't you think they would be like, go, be your husband's problem? I mean, although if she had an actual vocation already, then she was earning money for the household.
Right. Well, and then
if she was apprenticing.
Yeah. So her husband was killed by a gunpowder explosion at the start of the American Revolution. So she acquired his property and kept up the upholstery business.
Interesting.
And so then she kept up the upholstery business, and then it says she worked day and night to make flags for Pennsylvania.
So she inherited
the house,
and that's kind of the only way that a woman could be independent in her own right was to be a widow, because that's the only way you could own land. It's the only way that you could inherit those sorts of things. Like, that's...
Yeah, and then...
That is a really interesting... Like, it sucks.
Right.
I'm sure she was very, very, very upset.
Yes.
But that... Interesting how that must have led the way for her to actually be her own...
She did...
wage earner.
She did get married again a year later, but he passed away. He was captured by the British and died in prison in 1781. Then she married...
She did not have great luck with
she
soldiers.
married someone... she married a third time, and he had been in prison with her late husband and met her when he delivered Joseph's farewells to her. Oh my goodness.
That is... I can't decide if it's adorable or horrifying or deeply inappropriate.
I know. Anyway.
But probably also quite normal.
Yeah, probably.
For that time period.
But there we are.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah.
Wow, that's not quite a meet cute.
No, but a little bit. But a little bit. Yeah. So anyway, there we are. Betsy Ross. All of the things. But I will say, I love that Betsy Ross is on the biography website. She is categorized as a military figure. So it makes sense.
And that's absolutely true.
Yep.
That's fascinating. Well, when you, when I saw your research on Betsy Ross, I decided to look a little further into, like, flag sewing broadly. Specifically, I wanted to know if it was acceptable for you or me or anyone with the ability to sew a flag, if that was an acceptable thing. And so where I first landed was on the American Legion website, like you do. And there's an FAQ with regards to the flag code. And there's a traffic jam outside my building. Lots of horns. Gonna ignore that. So one of the questions is, can the flag be repaired or mended?
Right.
And it had never occurred to me that might not be fine.
Right.
But
yet, I know that if a flag is, like, beyond repair, that there's the process for...
an unserviceable
So I guess it would make sense
flag.
that there would be times that you would... The respectful thing would be to take care of the flag and mend it. So I guess that would make sense.
Yeah. And so there are no provisions of the flag code which prohibit the sewing or repairing of the flag. The only additional note from the American Legion is, we do caution that if material is removed, the flag may no longer conform to the size and proportions as specified in Executive Order 10834.
There you go.
So, that is the answer to both of those questions, honestly. But then I stumbled upon a tutorial for making a flag properly. Like, for real making a flag from the University of Maryland's college systems. And someone named Meredith Purvis is the person who wrote about the flag. And so there are lots of steps between Betsy Ross and the current flag. And there are lots of toes to step on in between there. So there's more than one flag that could be arguably the traditional flag. I mean, there's a flag code. Right. There really is one now. But there is one because of an executive order by a president. Before then, there were several answers. The War of 1812 flag is the Star-Spangled Banner.
Okay. The one we sing about. Yeah.
yeah. Francis Scott Key saw the Star-Spangled Banner, the War of 1812 era flag, flying over Fort McHenry, and burst forth into song and cannons.
Yes, as one does when one sees a flag.
I just want to watch Eddie Izzard now. Anyway, so the War of 1812 flag, however, was created in 1813 by Mary Pickersgill, who is a Baltimore flag maker, and Baltimore makes sense as it is. It's anyone who has ever seen The Wire knows that shipping yards are there. There are dock workers. That is one of the main places. So there are now... this whole article walks through, like, the process of getting historically accurate and appropriate materials, and how many people you might expect to need to make a real regulation size flag, which is 30 feet by 42 feet.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's photos of people actually sewing a flag are really reminiscent of quilting bees. It is a bunch of people with that flag, everybody's hand sewing. So there's a lot of really cool information about the history, about that flag, how many yards that you need. And so in fall of 2013, this is how it broke down as far as how much it would cost to truly make an authentic flag.
And does it also say what type of fabric they're using for this?
It does in the article, but it doesn't in
That's
the
fine.
step
Yeah.
out. So 110 yards of red fabric, 110 yards of white fabric, 55 yards of blue fabric, 15 stars, 13 stripes. It took about 200 people to sew this flag, because this is actually a recap of a group of people truly doing it.
Right.
It took them 6 weeks to do it, and $10,000 in supplies.
What?
To hand sew
Sure.
a historically accurate Star-Spangled Banner flag.
How? Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I assume the fabric is doubled? Because I'm thinking yardage-wise, it seems like a lot. But
I don't think it is. I think that it's...
I was thinking like the blue especially.
Like French seamed, like flat
okay.
seamed together, which would
Yeah.
add significant seam allowances. And there is like the edging and hemming and all of the things that have to happen there, and the applique and inset.
Yeah.
Depending on whether you single or double applique, whether you applique at all, like how you're doing that. And
oh my goodness.
in this case, it was appliqued, and it looks to me like it's double appliqued. But yeah, so it is just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
To me, how much would go into making a flag that could fly above a U.S. fort.
Right.
Like, at the time, be seen from a distance, so both you and your enemy knew that was yours. And also, sometimes people destroyed them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
like,
with this in mind, the amount of time and supplies that went into it, destroying a flag it's not just a really big insult. It's a very large destruction of property as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I am personally very invested in having read the flag code. I read the flag code at least annually, which I know is a weird thing,
no, I like
but it's
it.
because it makes me mad when people I might disagree with politically want to throw patriotism in my face by way of utterly failing to follow the flag code, which is the thing that is often being held up.
I would also say, though, I'm equally as irritated when people I would even agree with politically do the same thing. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's like,
it's just that they're not the ones harassing. I still will tell them a thing or two about the flag code.
But yeah, when the people who claim to be especially patriotic misuse it, no matter where they land on things, but like that there's certain things.
If you have an American flag bikini, you're certainly, I'm not actually sure what the
Wait.
the actual consequences for violating the flag code
Well,
are.
I think that's just it. I'm not sure that there usually are any consequences, and that's why we have so many people who are, I think unless you were to do something especially egregious with it publicly, but
All right. Is violating the flag code illegal? No. Well, the U.S. flag code is a federal law.
mm-hmm.
So
Yep, it is
a federal law. The guidelines are only stated with voluntary and non-specific language. So, like, you should.
Right.
Or in the custom of.
Right. What is
or
considered
behave
appropriate
in a way
or,
of respect.
Mm-hmm.
So, the flag code, it has been struck down as a criminal statute with regards to mutilating, defacing,
Right.
and burning. Burning is one of the proper ways to dispose of a flag. So
you get into some gray area there.
There's some, yes. There's some weirdness.
And also, this also says, unless an article of clothing is made from an actual United States flag, there's no breach of flag etiquette whatsoever. So that was a new one to me. But also, just
I don't think that's true.
I feel
in the spirit of the actual flag code. Like,
yeah,
it's not that I don't think you should be able
this
to.
This is from
whatever.
The same American Legion in their questions and stuff that they do. But definitely, if you're listening to this, don't be sewing anything out of an actual American flag. It's not okay.
Yeah, well, and the American Legion, I will say, has a specific leaning.
Sure.
And that leaning would not want to hear that you cannot wear your American flag bikini. And, I mean, again, I simply do not care about those things. It annoys me when people use them in an argument, specifically about patriotism or respect or things like that. And, like, I obviously do not think that everything my country does is A+ super amazing.
Right.
But I am aware of the codes that, in theory, you're supposed to be upholding. I have read the Constitution. Yeah. I have a copy of the Constitution on my desk.
Yes, I could walk right upstairs and I could get my pocket Constitution that I have. You know?
I do have a pocket Constitution.
Everyone should have a pocket Constitution.
Yeah. And I have a really cool. You know the mini Bibles that used to just be everywhere in the 80s. The leather bound.
Yeah, it was like the little
the
mini
gold
gift
leaf
that you would. Yeah.
Well, I have the Constitution bound in one of those like very, very nice settings.
That's cool.
And my Ruth Bader Ginsburg action figure stands next to it.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Not that anyone was confused about my political leanings, but so anyway, I make it my business to know about that because I am pedantic and oh my goodness, am I annoyed by people who use that as a weapon.
Yeah, all of the things related to this, I definitely can get a little, well, actually.
Yeah. Can I tell you about sewing stars?
Yes.
So we can veer away
that would be great.
a political train wreck.
But wait, just really quick.
Yeah.
To be clear,
mm-hmm.
I think that, and I tend to fall, I'm too conservative for my liberal friends and too liberal for my conservative friends, but, which makes me
actually same.
Right,
weirdly.
exactly. But
yeah.
I think that the reason that we do get a little well actually about these things is because we care about our country.
Yeah.
Even when it irritates us. Yes? No matter where you fall on things, if you care about your country, you should get irritated about some things, right? That's how it
We
goes.
want it to be better. We want to do better.
Exactly. Okay, so stars.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah, I think there's a midpoint, and we both fall ever so slightly on the other side of that midpoint from each other.
Exactly.
And I think that is an excellent place to start conversations.
Yeah, because it's where you...
how my dad and I talk.
Yeah, it's also where you realize that you're way more the same than you are different.
Exactly. And, I mean, my dad is very conservative, except that almost all of the things that we truly believe are right and moral are the same.
And sometimes you just see, like, going about doing things in a different way.
Yeah.
But you want the same end.
Like, guys. Anyway. Sewing stars.
Yeah, sewing
Speaking
stars.
Of going about things in a different way and ending up in the same place. Oh, I just brought it on back.
I like it.
All right, so if you are wondering, hey, do the stars get sewn or are they embroidered or what's going on?
Is the answer yes?
Is, yeah, but most often, as far as I can tell, the original hand-stitched flags were appliqued, and I think it's because of the light needing to evenly shine through to be visible in different lighting
that makes
when
sense.
Displayed at a distance. And that is entirely a guess, but I am...
That would... yeah, I can see that.
And also, I mean, you would have to embroider both sides of the flag.
Exactly. You'd need a stitch that was going to work, the same on both sides, which you could do. But going back to Betsy Ross lore, the idea of her cutting a star to go on there is in keeping with the applique aspect. So, yeah. And I think that you can find the old flags... Very old flags still exist, so there are examples of them. I did not pull any up in advance of this, but yeah.
Link to some of them in the star.
Oh, yes.
The sewn star. There's an entire rare flag website, unsurprisingly.
I am now looking at it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you've got your single applique, which is what everybody thinks of, probably, when they think of applique, except I'm not sure why you would do that on a flag, because it's an interesting choice. I see how they did it and how they finished it, because they did essentially needle turn applique on the inside of the raw cutout. Mm-hmm. But double applique, I think, is probably what we've seen most often. I think single applique is maybe more often seen in ships and things for at a distance. Double applique is, I think, usually on top of the fabric.
Yes, I think that sounds accurate to me.
Yep, yeah. And it looks to me like needle turn applique pretty broadly, which makes sense because most things pre-zigzag stitch were needle turn finishing.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. There are also painted stars, like once you get to the point where you can have stencils, and if you are maybe, say, fighting a world war, mm-hmm. and need to make a bunch of mm-hmm. flags to put on a bunch of different things, you might get stencils, and then you might get stars that way. There is an example of a 1944 flag with stenciled stars that...
Some of them are rough.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the interesting thing about almost all of these flags are obviously somebody did this by hand.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what the process was, like, somebody cut those stars out. Somebody drew them and cut them out. Because they're not necessarily perfect. And, so yeah, you can also dye different flags in different ways. I think we generally see it digitally done these days, but that is more or less the norm for now, like a single piece of fabric with different colors. Like, you could screen print a flag or dye a flag in that way. Stamping seems like a questionable choice.
That was a very questionable choice.
Yeah. You can make some beautiful embroidered stars if you've got time.
Yes. But I have to say...
Or some really not beautiful ones if you don't.
On this website, the flag from... It was a Civil War era homemade parade flag. It is very charming.
It's really cute.
They are, and it says that the stripes were also embroidered on this one. They don't necessarily look like your traditional 5-pointed star. They do have 5 points, but they're
cool though.
It's cool, and the fact that with a lot of these people were making their own flags. The fact that was made for a parade is so special.
Yeah, and I would also like to say that they're lined up significantly better than a lot of the real ones.
That is also true.
Yeah, so I definitely recommend taking a look at all of the different versions. There are some questionable crochet applique happening. I mean, no shade, but also, And yeah, there are just a lot of really interesting options.
Yes.
Reverse applique. There's a very, very interesting Civil War reverse applique flag that I don't know who cut those stars, but I think they might have been 5. And I also think the person who stitched those stitches, like, I truly think it might have been someone quite young.
Well, it was done with calico dress fabric. It hung in front of a general store, and there are holes in the flag that were shot through by Southern sympathizers. Okay.
Yep.
Also, I would just like to say, when you look at the full version of this flag, there's like on the main page, it gives close-up of the stars, but there's a way where you can look at the full thing. And the stars get wonkier as you look at the full version. But it's still really cool.
And I kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's very like, charming.
Again, these become pieces of history in so many ways. So I like it. This is a good find. Thank you for finding this. All right. Before we wrap up this episode, I have to share my good find that goes along with, this is the danger of having a podcast where you look things up and you learn new things. Because when I was looking up Betsy Ross, I also learned about the existence of a thing called the Betsy Ross toy sewing machine.
Uh-oh.
Now, I already own a little Singer clamp-on hand crank sewing machine that doesn't look like how we think of sewing machines now, but the Betsy Ross toy sewing machine was made in 1950. It's kind of a Statue of Liberty color, blue-green aluminum.
Yeah, it is my favorite industrial green color. I have several pieces of office industrial furniture in that color.
Exactly.
You're in a room that's that color.
I found a website called Mermaid's Den that talks about them, including, she has a scan of like the original ad for this sewing machine. When it came out,
give me all the info.
I know, which was really wonderful because when you saw that gave like the measurements of it and everything. It's small. Like its largest measurement for the box that would come with it was like 9 inches. So it's a small little one.
It's tiny.
It's tiny. And when they released it, you could get it in either hand crank or electric. And the hand crank cost $7.50, and the electric version was $22.50 in 1950.
That was a lot of money.
And so when I found this, I was immediately smitten. It stitches with chain stitch, which was common for small sewing machines like this at the time. So no bobbin underneath. And when I linked to this in our planning document for the recording, I said, I will own one. And then by this morning when we went to record, I had to put in correction, I now own one because I found one on eBay. The electric ones can be very pricey.
And also very dangerous.
That was exactly it. I thought, why pay more money for something that I'm going to be nervous to run when I could get a hand crank one, have more control over it anyway, because I actually want to be able to use it, and I'd like to play around with because it does chain stitch, play around with using it for more decorative stitching. It'll just be on the underside of, where it stitches. But so
this is the trade show, the New York toy trade show that still happens.
Yeah. Is that where
was apparently at the New Yorker hotel.
All right. Is that what the little ad flyer thing is from? Okay, I did not notice that on there, but yeah. So it's really cute, and the seller said that everything seems to be working. It needs a little bit of oil, but about a week from now, I should have my little Betsy Ross sewing machine. So I should probably stitch something patriotic on it, but I'm just gonna see what happens.
Well, you do know how to cut stars.
I do know how to cut stars. So there you go. Mm-hmm. I could chain stitch applique them onto something.
I think the answer is obviously. Oh no! What are the flags? What are they called?
Like a bunting?
Garland.
Yeah.
Yes, bunting. That is the word I'm looking for.
I should make bunting.
Yep, bunting with stars appliqued on with your Betsy Ross sewing machine. Listen, I've planned your project.
I mean, there was really no other option, really. So.
No.
All right.
Yeah, before we go any further into that direction, because I know us.
Yeah.
Let's just wrap this up. Thanks for listening to the Very Serious Crafts podcast. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Serious Crafts and on Facebook at Very Serious Crafts. You can also find show notes and all things Very Serious Crafts at veryseriouscrafts.com. And finally, if you're a fan of the Very Serious Crafts podcast, please leave us a 5-star review on whichever platform you use to listen to podcasts, because good ratings help us show up in the recommendations, which helps more people who love crafting find us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, I mean, now we could spread the word about making flags to a whole generation. It's exciting.
It's true. Or we could start a whole lot of controversy.
That also.
It could go in either direction. Yeah, tell us about your flag sewing or your toy sewing machines, please.
That definitely. So, all right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Bye, everyone.